What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, and we bring you Splinterlands content daily. We also stream over on Twitch, so come by, say hello. We do giveaways every stream at This Is Aftersound is the username. All right, let's go ahead and jump in. This is my usual weekly 5 biggest takeaways from the town hall. This is for the last one of last year, December 31st, 2021. And there wasn't much in this. So first of all, just to preface for those who might be new to the channel, whether you're watching this here on YouTube or on 3Speak, this is not a recap. This is not a summary. There are plenty of other amazing content creators that cover this stuff. This is more so just, I want to take a different take on this, I suppose, and just the 5 things that jumped out at me. They could be big, they could be small, but just 5 of my biggest takeaways from the most recent town hall. And what you're looking at here for visual is the town hall summary, so I'll be referencing that. But as many of you know, I like to have my own little visual here. So let's start right at the top. Number 1, somebody asked Aggro directly, will Rift Watchers require vouchers? And he most definitely said yes. Now, he gave a rough range of 80 to 100% of Rift Watchers will require vouchers. And if you remember from the previous videos or previous announcements, they will have, I believe, 3 million packs available for sale. So here's the thing with that. I want to first start off and just take a step back and remind everyone that everything is subject to change. We all thought that Chaos Legion was going to require vouchers all the way through. Then we thought Chaos Legion was going to require vouchers halfway through, or 7-8 million packs. And then we find out that it is 20%, only 3 out of the 5 million packs. And to me, that's kind of what's created this weird phase 2 that we're in, and the, I don't even know how to describe it, what's happening with the economy or the market specifically for cards right now. Obviously, we know that a lot of cards are going to get flooded in at one time, but it's almost like the prices are coming down in anticipation of the market flooding, at which point the prices will come down even more. But we'll get into that, and I might even do a separate video kind of covering where I see the prices of cards going in the short, medium, and long term. But back to Rift Watchers. Right now, as it's being said, again, this was just something that was said in a comment or in a response during the AMA portion of the town hall. And so if it's going to be 80% or even 100% or even 50%, right, I would assume it's going to be more than what we saw with Chaos Legion, just because of what we're seeing within the game now. And we know how Aggro and the team feel about vouchers overall. Well, it might not be a bad time to start stacking up. And I know Chaos Legion isn't even fully out yet, but as you can see, voucher prices have been below the $4 ceiling that I thought would happen after the Chaos Legion release. So definitely called that one wrong. But, well, actually, I don't even know if I called it wrong. I just said that it just happened a lot earlier than I was expecting it to. Now, the thing is, there will only ever be 7.2 million vouchers released in per year, right? Based on the 20,000 voucher drop that happens every single day. So if they do go with any kind of voucher requirement, it feels as though Rift Watchers is going to be somewhat metered out. Now, let's say Rift Watchers releases all the way at the end of Q2. So we'll just say like June sometime. We will roughly have, and I'm just using rough timeframes right now, we will roughly have 3.6 million vouchers released, right? Assuming all of the Chaos Legion vouchers are used for Chaos Legion. And then we kind of have 6 months. Again, it's going to be less, but roughly 6 months. There will probably be about 3 million vouchers available for Rift Watchers when it comes out. Now, that doesn't mean to say that there won't be other utilities for vouchers in the meantime, such as we discussed, like potentially airdrop potions or whatever else they might throw into the game. Keep in mind, 5 months is a long time, or 6 months from now is a long time for that to happen. So lots can still change, but vouchers are cheap right now. And if you want to start stacking up, I don't think it's a terrible idea. I'm not going to tell you what to do, and this is not financial advice. But if I was giving it financial advice, and I'm not, but if I was giving financial advice, I would say just stack and stake SPS. This, if you're in it for the long haul, SPS is the token that you want because SPS gets you vouchers for free on top of any and all other benefits that are coming to SPS, as we covered in the SPS roadmap video that I previously put out. So, it's like vouchers are so much cheaper than when they first came out. Obviously, that was the premium moment for them during the pre-sale. But maybe this is the appropriate price for vouchers, right? We don't really know until there's more utility given. This seems about right. Like I said, once the general sale began, or phase two of this sale was over, I saw a ceiling of $4. So there is no reason that vouchers should be more than $4. And until they provide any other reasons or utility, this seems about right. So you can grab the vouchers if you want, start stacking the vouchers. But the thing is, you don't get the benefits with the vouchers, right? If you put your money into SPS, you will be able to stake it, meaning that you're earning whatever, 30+% APR on it, which is actually very good for DeFi, or decent for DeFi, I should say. Very good for the rest of finance or traditional finance. And then on top of that, you're getting vouchers. So, and whether you want to use those vouchers or sell them in the future if the price goes up or even down, whatever the case is, you have that option. So SPS is still the play for me, although we know that vouchers will be required in some form. I do not believe that there will be any situation, there is no universe that exists in which vouchers will not be required at all for Rift Watchers. I think that the team saw at least minimal success or some success in the beginning in the pre-sale. And I think a lot of folks have learned their lessons, seeing how dynamically, how dynamic the change was in the market overall, as we're seeing a lot of this downward pressure. Now, again, we're seeing a lot of this downward pressure before the general sale, so that's kind of surprising me a little bit. But also, I believe, in my opinion, and again, we'll cover this maybe more specifically, I believe that so much of this is just anticipation. We know that the general sale is coming in 2 weeks, and people are expecting to be able to buy the cards so much cheaper in 2 weeks that they're going to sell them now. So, that's that. Let's go ahead into number 2. So Nate talked a lot about land, and here was one thing that kind of stuck out to me, but let's go actually down to the land portion. Here we go. So I believe this is wrong. I was checking the map chat, and I think they were talking about it differently here, or that it was written incorrectly. But items and spells, which will be minted only through land, so only if you are a landowner, will have a burn mechanism. So this is incorrect. The way that Aggroed was describing it, I believe, in the town hall, was that similar to cards, these items and spells will be NFTs that will need to be combined in order to be leveled up, right? And, there'll be different tiers, I'm assuming, in the same way that you can play summoners and monsters at different leagues, you'll be able to do the same thing with items and spells. Now, somebody asked a very prudent question, and it still bothers me, even though Aggroed, I don't want to say Aggroed brushed it off, but it wasn't a concern for Aggroed. And that question, I'm paraphrasing here, was, will the market become oversaturated if we don't have this burn mechanism, right? If items and spells were all like one-time use, then that would make sense, right? Because then there just wouldn't be this like a clogged drain, essentially, of more and more and more items and spells in the ecosystem. So to me, it still is a little concerning. Obviously, what we don't want is an oversaturation. And to be honest, I guess an oversaturation would only happen if the game really loses a huge amount of player base. And if it does, then you're going to see oversaturation in everything, right? You're going to see an oversaturation in cards, probably in SPS. People, you'd see that in the price of SPS coming down. But that's because people didn't want it, right? So maybe it isn't anything for concern, but I'm still going to put a little asterisk next to that one, because I don't know. I feel like there would need to be some kind of burn mechanism. Now, going off on a bit of a tangent here, if the SPS stakers, right, SPS governance doesn't like that or wants to make a change in the future, that is something that can be discussed and voted on and potentially changed by the team. So, I'm just throwing that out there, that it is something of a concern for me, even though I'm sure the team is thinking through this. And maybe the reason that Agro kind of said that he wasn't concerned is because they have a more thought out version of how this will play out that obviously I don't have and we don't have at this point. So I will give the team the benefit of the doubt for now, but if there's not going to be a burning mechanism, it's only a matter of time before there's some kind of oversaturation, right? Because if I can give an example, right? Think about the most expensive card, like your Prince Julian or something like that. Yeah, in the beginning, it's going to be very rare, right? For example, but if we are able to keep on printing Prince Julians, even if we get to whatever new kinds of items and spells 3 years down the road that are printing at much higher rates, it's like we're still going to be getting them. It's just going to be at a lower rate. But again, I'm speculating too much here. I just wanted to call that out because I thought that was an interesting thing. I was under the impression that these would be single use, and therefore, if you have land and you're selling them, and then people would still be in need of them. But hopefully, obviously, with the player base growing, there will always be a demand there. But keep in mind that will tail off at some point. It's not like we're going to have 7 or 8 billion people playing this game. I mean, that'd be awesome, but we're not going to have that. I would think that we would be in a great spot if we can hit, Magic the Gathering numbers. And I don't even know where I'm pulling this out of. I saw it in a random article about like 10 million players or active players for Magic the Gathering. So, that's kind of 20x from where we're at right now, which would be huge because that's a lot of attention, money, and people coming into the game. So, all right, number 3. This AMA was different in the sense that it was more so a recap of like the company's achievements over the past year rather than, kind of looking forward and ahead to what's to come in 2022. I feel like they did enough of that already with the previous one. So this is kind of nice that they broke it down into all the things that they were able to accomplish this year. And, if you go through it, I'm not going to go through it now, but if you go through it, there's quite a bit. Now, the things that I want to call out with number 3, the blockchain bridge accomplishments, right? So in February, and again, this is like 11 months ago, they completed the asset bridge to the Wax blockchain so that you're able to sell, whatever assets that you want on Wax. And then in March, they completed the DEC bridge to Binance Smart Chain. So I'm somebody that came in through Binance Smart Chain. Now, I didn't even hear about this game in March. I didn't hear about it until probably late July, probably sometime in August, to be honest. And that was, of course, after the big Axie Infinity boom and this, focus on crypto gaming or play to earn at that point. But here's the thing. Without this bridge, right? Without this bridge, I probably wouldn't have come into the game because I have assets. I have assets on the Binance Smart Chain. I use the Binance Smart Chain regularly, daily. And that was just my way into the ecosystem, right? So looking ahead here, we know that previously we are now connected with the Ethereum blockchain as well. And keep in mind, Ethereum is the big daddy when it comes to smart contracts, right? It's not Bitcoin, but in terms of all the smart contract platforms, Ethereum is the big daddy. Now, why wasn't I using Ethereum? Well, because the fees are ridiculous. But a lot of people still use Ethereum. And what I wanted to call out though, so you can see your SPS token listed on SushiSwap, BabySwap, Alpaca Finance. What I wanted to call out is looking ahead, we've seen how much the game has grown. I don't know that we've felt the benefits from the Ethereum blockchain connection. Now, I don't know what the team is doing in terms of future blockchain bridges being built, but I think about all of the activity and attention and total value lock that's happening on blockchains like AVAX, blockchains like Solana, maybe even Luna or Terra Luna, right? And so if the team has plans of connecting to all those different blockchains in the future, right, those could be more onboarding ramps. So I don't know that the team is doing this. This might be a good question for somebody to ask them, or if you have heard them talk about it before, maybe I missed it, please let me know. But to me, that was a huge accomplishment. Obviously, that was my on-ramp. But the thing is, people are in all of these different blockchains, and it might be their on-ramp if we can get there. So yeah, I don't know. That was exciting to me to kind of just see how this played out. I didn't realize that DEC, or at least Binance Smart Chain, was just so recent. And I know, like 1 year, 1 year doesn't seem like that long ago, right? But I guess it seems to me like it wasn't that long ago. But in crypto, I feel like months are years and years are decades. It's just crazy. So I'm excited to see what they could potentially do if they connect to more blockchains within 2022. All right, so number 4, the rewards card and game economy updates. So this is a big thing that happened in the second half of the year. And I don't know where, let's see, was there anything about bots? Somebody talked about like bots going down for a bit. Oh yeah, see, so after reward changes, bots plummeted to about 1 to 5%. So most new players coming into the game now are real players, but obviously there's still a lot of bots. I don't think anybody necessarily turned off their bot accounts. And no, I do not have any bot accounts, so I can't speak to this. And we're not going to get into the whole bot thing here. But that with the that's not what I meant to do. The game and economy updates, it really. If you look back, and we have the luxury of hindsight, right? 2020 hindsight of what's happening right now. People obviously weren't happy about what was happening in the game and how it was more difficult to level up, to get rewards. Cards were getting priced out. But looking back, this was necessary. It's like the one step back to take 2 steps forward approach. It was absolutely necessary for the team to do because DEC was just being farmed like crazy from bots, right? Like I can only play X amount of hours or minutes per day as any other normal human can, but bots can play forever, right? So having DEC being farmed out by bots and just being pulled out to whatever accounts that run the bots, that needed to be changed, right? That was the second change. The first change was, I believe, the rewards cards were also nerfed in bronze because that's where the bots were spending most of their time. So it sucked for a lot of newer players. It sucked for a lot of players that didn't have assets in the game, and it really made the whole focus of Splinterlands play to earn rather than free to play. The game is still 100% free to play. You're just not going to earn anything from it, right? But what other games do you play that you can earn something from? So in that model, I liked the direction that the team was taking. I liked the reshifting of the narrative and focusing on like, this is a play to earn game. You want to be buying and own, or not buying, you could even win assets within the game and level up that way. So that was a huge part of what happened and what I feel caused this tremendous asset bubble, right? Within Splinterlands, where we just saw things rise to crazy heights, card prices specifically, and probably land to a certain extent too, rise to crazy heights because they had to implement that before new cards were out, right? Keep in mind, Chaos Legion didn't come out until December, and they were making all of these changes back in September. So there was like this weird 3-month period where all of a sudden the amount of rewards cards coming out, and these are the only new cards available, right? The amount of rewards cards coming out has been significantly reduced because bots are no longer able to farm them in the same amount or at the same rate. New players are coming into the game, but new cards aren't available. So, limited supply of cards and limited supply of cards and all this demand coming in from newer players created this huge bubble that feels like it popped. And a lot of people are obviously upset. A lot of people feel like they've been wrecked. And I don't blame them, right? This is not, if I was in your position, I'd be the same way. And here's the thing, like I bought in SPS at this price, like roughly around 22 cents where it was in September. But I also bought some in at much higher prices. I think the highest buy that I had was in the 80-cent range. So, while my overall price is probably a lot lower than people who bought in at the height or the peak of FOMO and euphoria, it's tough. Like this is just the way that the cycle goes. Now, if people who are looking at this and saying like, oh, yeah, I think the game is dead now and whatever, like nothing's going to happen. I feel like you're being short-sighted and probably a little too emotional in terms of how you're treating this as an investment. I think it's important to look at what the team is trying to do for 2022 and also make sure that you are objectively analyzing what happened in 2021. I'm not going to say it absolutely sucks to be down, right? I bought a ton of Gin O'Shaughnessy's at $40 and $50, and those are all down 80%, right? And the rental value is just completely wiped out. So I'm here with you, and I'm just trying to understand how we can analyze this and where this will take us in the future. And I don't have the answers for you right now, but what I'm saying is that it's important to make sure that you realize that, at least for me, I don't believe this game is dead at all. I think that there is going to be a lot of really, really great things that come into the ecosystem in 2022. And that could be whether or not Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market decide to go up or down. Obviously, we are still correlated to a certain extent, but on the whole, we have seen SPS being given kind of the ability to decouple both up and down, right, from the rest of the market when it makes sense. So obviously with the pre-sale, prices went up, and when the vouchers were going to be discontinued for the general sale, SPS kind of started going down, or at least starting from that point onwards. I'm oversimplifying it. Okay, we spent too much time on here, so I just wanted to, it was more so just to look back at how this really shaped where we are now. I don't believe we were going to get to that point anytime soon. And I think that's a good thing, right? Like, cards are going for pennies right now. Chaos Legion cards are going for pennies, and they might be going for fractions of a penny or lower amounts of pennies in the near future once the general sale starts. And that is exactly what everybody wanted. They wanted cheap cards. They wanted the ability to level up. So if you're not taking advantage of this and you believe in the long-term, health of this game, or at least the long-term vision of this game, I feel like you're kind of playing both sides of the coin here. Yeah, we can be upset about asset prices being down across the board, but it's also the best time to buy cards, right? Or at least a better time to buy cards than a month ago even. So let's go ahead, jump into the last one. This one if somebody can confirm, I haven't been able to see how many, but at the time it did not seem like the bulk sale, which was supposed to be up to 6 million packs. I don't believe that it sold out. And that to me signals obviously a lower demand in the game. I'm sure a lot of people are going to look at that and be a little nervous or anxious or hesitant, right? Thinking that, well, we've seen just this dramatic kind of exit in terms of interest from Splinterlands. But keep in mind, this is from crypto as a whole. Like, Bitcoin is down still like 20, 30, 40%, whatever it is. I think it's at 45K today, down from, the 68, 69,000 that it was back in November. So that's just something to keep in mind. And as I said, if the bulk sale is going to be any kind of indication, I do wonder if all of that talk about Chaos Legion selling out in the first 24 hours is kind of overblown. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, because here's the thing. I do believe that the crypto market will rebound in some ways. I don't know that we're going to hit new all-time highs anytime soon, but just like any market, it's going to have its moments where it pumps and it dumps. And in the next, we'll call it 5 months before Rift Watchers comes out, I do believe that the crypto market will pump at some point, right? Not to new all-time highs. And I'm not trying to make any price predictions here, but as with any market, it's going to have green days and it's going to have red days. And on those green days, we may get more people who come through, more interest that enters, right? And just overall time passing as crypto becomes more and more mainstream adopted, right? And it will be good in that sense that Splinterlands doesn't look like a game that is completely priced out for newer players. Right. So to me, I look at that as a good thing. So it's maybe I'm just a glass half full guy, right? Maybe I'm just a glass half full guy, but to me, it's beneficial either way. If we sell out in the first day, boom, the demand is there. You know that people are hungry to get these packs. You know that people are there, they want to play. And if they don't sell out, then at least it provides this easier on-ramp for people to come through and join the game at whatever stage that we're at in terms of development overall. So yeah, I don't mind either way. I know the devs obviously prefer it to last out a little bit longer. So if it happens that way, it's great. If it doesn't and it sells out, well, that kind of sucks for me, because I would love to be able to buy packs regularly, whether I'm buying to hold long term or buying to, potentially open. So I don't know. We'll see. Exciting things though. So that's all I have for this town hall. 5 biggest takeaways from the town hall. Again, it wasn't really like they weren't talking much about future vision. It was more so a look back, and I thought that was refreshing. So if you want to go ahead and listen to it, I highly recommend it. But we will be having a new town hall this week. So let me go ahead. I'll end this video here because it's already gone on a little bit longer than I expected. But if this is the first video that you guys are seeing in the new year, then I want to wish you a happy new year. I will catch you in the next video, and I will see you around the game. Have a great rest of your day.